USC quarterback Sam Darnold was just drafted 3rd overall in the NFL draft. Good evening. I'm Drew Jones.
3 UCLA athletes who were arrested in China are now back in Los Angeles. I'm Drew Jones, and I'll have a live report coming up from LAX.
Well, I'm wearing Kentucky blue for a reason today. I picked Kentucky to make it to the Final Four.
With the calendar winding down until kickoff, NFL teams nationwide are prepping for the upcoming season. For the Los Angeles Chargers, 28 rookies are still vying for their spot on the main stage, and 21 up-and-coming Galvanize reporters are here to tell their stories. Today is National Signing Day, and 3 recruits from Mater Dei High School have crossed the T's and dotted the I's to become USC Trojans. Now, what a lot of people don't know is there's actually athletes on the Hollywood Walk of Fame as well. Take, for instance, Muhammad Ali. Now, he got his start in 2002, and it's currently on the wall right before you walk into Dolby Theater. The reason why it's on the wall as opposed to the ground is because Ali did not want the name Muhammad to be stepped on.
So a player like you who didn't play tackle football until high school, do you think that that should also be something that's instituted for players?
The name Anthony Manzo-Lewis didn't exist just 4 years ago. Why'd you change your name?
So I changed my last name because my biological father hasn't been in my life since as long as I can remember.
So you started your career as a quarterback and transitioned to a wide receiver. So how did that experience benefit you in the NFL, being versatile, and how could these guys use that to their advantage?
Well, I think my situation was unique because I came in as a quarterback, and at that time, the quarterback position, I was more of a runner than a passer.
And you threw for 2 touchdowns as a wide receiver then too.
Yeah, I got my opportunity to throw the ball, and that's the good thing about it too.
There are a few guys lined up for the starting quarterback job, and fans already want to know who will replace Sam Darnold. Ever since Darnold elected to the NFL draft, the QB discussion has been the talk of the town. With 4 quarterbacks on the spring roster and a 5-star recruit coming this fall, it is definitely a toss-up for who will lead the offense next year. While most Trojans are prepping for their conference championships, women's golf has already wrapped up and women's tennis is competing right now. Women's golf finished just 8 strokes over par at the Pac-12 championships yesterday, putting them in 2nd behind UCLA. Sophomore Allison Corpus tied for 7th in the individual rankings, her 5th top 15 finish in a row. The Trojans are now preparing for the NCAA tournament selections that will be announced this evening. Running back Ronald Jones split time with other running backs in his first 2 years, but in his junior season was given the chance to shine. He finished top 10 nationally in both rushing yards and touchdowns before declaring early for the draft.
Getting hit hard is just a part of the game. And so is the risk of serious brain damage, which is why the number of kids playing tackle football under the age of 12 is down 20% since 2009, and flag football is on the rise.
My kids started playing flag football when they were about 7 years old, which is way too young in our opinion to play tackle. So it was the perfect environment for them to start understanding the game of football. In a pretty safe environment too.
The Safe Youth Football Act has been introduced to the California legislature and could change the nature of football in the state. The bill would be added to the state's health and safety code, requiring kids to be at least 12 years old before playing tackle football. They defined tackle as physically impeding the forward movement of a player who is in possession of the ball. If it passes, it will go into effect on January 1st, 2020. Christopher Brown has coached his sons in this league and says his kids won't play tackle until high school.
And we had a PE coach at our kids' school who strongly recommended that kids don't start playing tackle till they're 13. And we took his advice and thought that seems like a pretty good decision, pretty good choice.
Thomas Barnes is also a flag football coach and the head coach at Lusinger High School in Los Angeles. He says tackle football is a big part of our culture.
I don't think that it's a good idea to cut it out. I think a better idea would be to make it safer and to teach coaches better how to train kids on how to play and how to tackle.
But for Brown and his wife, it was pretty much a no-brainer to start their kids with flag football.
My wife had a pretty bad concussion surfing about 5 years ago, and we saw firsthand the effects of a bad concussion on her, and that was enough to scare us about the effects of a concussion. So we're trying to be careful about it.
Barnes says banning the sport for youth takes away the opportunity to prepare for collision and could in fact cause more injuries.
You know, why not learn when you're, 9, 10 years old, and the collision is just, you and little Johnny running in each other, you're falling down, oh, don't do it, but the coach has to be able to teach, don't put your head down, Jimmy. Keep your head up, wrap him up, take him to the ground, you know what I mean, use your shoulder.
Bills to eliminate youth tackle football have also been filed in Maryland, Illinois, and New York. If this bill passes, California could become one of the first states to set a minimum age requirement for tackle football. Reporting from Los Angeles, I'm Drew Jones.